Brodes Media.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome on into the day after pod. So many things to say. So many. Where do we begin? Okay. The first quarter. For once, we were able to enjoy points. Right? A touchdown. That's incredible. Why do you think that is? Don't you think when you pass as beautifully as they passed, that equals their ability to start out fast? I'm just saying. And I can't believe that last week I actually started to get sucked into the reality here that they needed last week to happen. I'm actually believing that Brandon Graham is somewhere smiling, shaking his head up and down, nodding, understanding he did it. His master plan. This was very thought out and methodical because you can't run away from it if the whole town and the whole world is discussing the locker room issues behind closed doors. And what was the first phrase that we got from Devontae Smith as soon as the game ended? We had some uncomfortable conversations this week, but I think they were healthy for the long view here. And I added that to the end. That wasn't his words legitimately, but it does mean exactly that. We can now take steps and elevate this offense the way we know we can because, well, there were a few exchanges that happened all because of the Brandon Graham drama, the A.J. Brown passing one-word answer drama. Somewhere Brandon Graham is smiling because his team responded. The best you could ever possibly imagine it happening. If you typed out the best case that could happen after that type of turmoil, it's what they did to the Steelers. Yo, a 10-plus minute drive for this baby to be wrapped up. Done. Finished. 10-plus minutes to Mike Tomlin. You do not do that unless you are real. And duh, they're real, but no, I mean real. Huge difference. And I love that Jaylen steps to the podium with the blingest bling my eyes have ever seen and goes, "Is that what you guys wanted?" Dude, if we got to be made to be out the bad guys, then so be it. AJ said it best too. If I have to play that role, okay. Well, if they want to say fuck you to the media and fuck you to some fans, and they internalize that because they do, Mr. Rat Poison? No. Mr. Use as motivation. And same applies to Nick. But I even have in front of me right now a notebook that has a bullet point second on the page. So that means actually I should have gotten to that by now, and instead I somehow got off the track for 5 minutes. So I wish I didn't admit that. That's how this damn brain of mine works. But number 2 on my list after the passing equals 10 points in the first Q is this. An apology to Nick Sirianni. What? I know. I was wrong. I'm sorry, Nick. I was wrong. You're a damn good coach. I wrote you off. I was wrong. When you maximize his strengths, I love it. I do. the loudness, the obnoxiousness, all of that, all the stuff that was bothering me when they were losing, when they put it together because of the leader that he is, and he sets the tone because of that, when it's rolling in the right direction, I could see why Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman wants that to be their head coach. And I'm really enjoying this. So I'm sorry, Nick Sirianni. You proved me wrong. You flipped me the double bird. Said, fuck you. I'll take it. It's what it is. And I think his style was legitimately described in every way, shape, or form throughout this past week. And really, when you just looked at the 60-minute effort against Pittsburgh, we sort of mentioned the Devontae Smith answer in passing. But if you think about it deeper, uncomfortable conversations can break and fracture relationships. It's not easy. It's a very difficult thing to do. Think about how they all rallied together during that time. That's a Nick Sirianni thing. The connection, brotherhood, love, family. Nick Sirianni is why you are able and even possible to sit down with said teammates and discuss things that you know may get someone angry, get someone pissed, bother someone. A lot of egos, a lot of money. That's what we're discussing with some of these athletes. A lot of ego and a lot of money and a lot of entitlement. And you have to somehow marry those feelings and emotions for a common goal. Nick Sirianni does that. Then, in game, when you got Clint ready to throw hands, yo, that's a big dude. Yo, Nick, I love you. I've been giving you a lot of love. Clint's a big dude. You better watch what you're doing. The fact that you can have a position coach step in and it not be what it felt to me out of the norm, that felt very standard for a Nick Sirianni ran club. He starts to freak out. They have Big Dom. They literally have a man whose job is to make sure Nick Sirianni doesn't cross the line when he knows mid-game something's about to pop off on the sidelines. They are a chaotic bunch. I forget exactly who I saw describe it this way, but it was essentially saying they don't run like a normal corporation. Think of it like this, and I'm actually adding this layer to it, but it might be perfect. Barstool. Barstool runs in a way that not every corporate America office runs when things start to hit the fan, right? When there's drama, what you can even say publicly. You can let your lips loose and get away with saying insane things on that platform that you wouldn't be able to if you worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield, you know? Maybe that's a horrible example. Could have used another media outlet. My point is this. The Nick Sirianni stuff, it's all over the place, but it works for them. And the ship that Nick Sirianni is the captain of, you're able to do that and manage these big egos and big personalities and all these coaches for a common goal. And it's impressive. And we got to witness it. It's a lot of fun. This team is so much fun. All right, why don't we listen to a couple pieces of national media? Because without a doubt, the Philadelphia Eagles were one of the biggest stories all day. That and the injuries that the Detroit Lions are constantly getting every single second. I swear I refresh my social and it's Adam Schefter with some big announcement that, well, Montgomery this or any of their guys on the defensive side of the football, they're all done and they're never going to be able to get available again this season. It's like every single time. It's nuts. I hate to talk about this because I don't want to put it into the ether. I do want to give the Eagles some love here, though. And I'm talking structure. Structure with actual information, data, how they're doing their research, people who apply the research behind the scenes with their medical department and their physical, with their strength training and all that. In 2022, part of the reason why it hurts so bad is because, well, what are the odds that you can stay upright and have a good portion of your men healthy that deep into the season? What happens to the Lions? Maybe they're an extreme the other way, but more times than not, you get hit and you get hit hard and you get hit in your testicles. There have been hiccups along the way because it's the nature of the beast. AJ early, Devontae early, Goddard, pretty big one. And we've been discussing the ins and outs and the random little switches here and there throughout a game at left guard or even right tackle. I never want to see this football team without Lane Johnson in my life. They are now on track to go deep into a season again, knock on wood, being healthy. And honestly, I say I don't want to speak it into the ether, but I'm just talking from a legitimate standpoint. I'm starting to ask, is there something to it? Because what are the odds in 2022 that you make it through that way? And that is rare. And now we're deep into the season again, and teams are way worse in shape. And I think there's reasons why. I think the Eagles run a great organization that value that, put the time into that, and actually have the players to execute and take care of their bodies and be in shape. You know, when Howie Roseman picks up the phone in the offseason and says, hey, man, how you doing? You putting your work in? He goes, yeah, man, I've been busting my ass. You got to come into shape if you're Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis because of the way the narrative has been for quite some time. You got to answer the bell now. And if you don't, it's going to be a hostile environment. And because you also just want to succeed and you're that level-minded. But you combine that all together. And whoa. And I think they do every little detail with stretching, with post-game, keeping up with your body, all of it, to put them in the position that they're in now. Which, to Nick Sirianni's credit, is a big buy-in. Okay. Now let's go to Get Up on ESPN, their little round table breaking down the Eagles. Here we go.
Ridiculous how good they are. By the way, the best part of their team is on the other side of the ball.
Is their defense. Are the Eagles the best team in the NFL, D. Wood?
Yes, they're the best team right now. Number one, they're the healthiest. So it pays to be healthy at this time of year. But they're loaded all over the place. And Rex is right. Defensively, I mean, listen, the Pittsburgh Steelers had like one explosive play in the passing game. They had 0 explosive runs. Okay, so as much as we want to talk about, Philadelphia in the passing game, how about the Philadelphia Eagles defense and how they just completely dismantle the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, who, oh, by the way, have been kind of cranked up over the past month or so. So, listen, this is a complete team, and they're going to be they're a wagon. They're going to be tough for anyone to beat.
I still think it's Buffalo. I like Buffalo as the best team in the league right now in terms of Josh Allen making – how does Josh Allen make that offense play?
Oh, Teddy! Boo! Boo! Get your ass out of here with that nonsense. D-Wood! D-Wood's got some brain cells, baby. This team is gross. That defense, I was losing my mind. Swear to God, I'm not even overstating this. This is truly the way my body was shaking with those 3 and outs. And I'm sitting there with my daughter, and we're just hanging out. We lay on the floor. She's got all of her toys. She watches every game with me. It's the best feeling in the entire fucking world. And we're screaming at the TV, right? She doesn't know what's going on. When the defense was popping and when the defense was getting stops, Darius Slay, he looks like he's Quinyon Mitchell's age. He don't look 52 no more. Now, occasionally when he has to hobble off to the sideline, but he's playing. The Darius Slay slander that we have processed for multiple years from the haters never made sense to me. For him to be playing this elite at this age still is mind-blowing. And yeah, maybe 2-7 is inspiring him and giving him that next adrenaline rush. You got to keep up with me. I'm CB1. Within love, of course, within great competition, but I think that has been a healthy reminder for Darius Slay. You can still ball in this league, and you can hang. Because he has added another punch from where he was when the non-haters were defending him. He hasn't always been ew like this. But this is no joke. 4th downs, big plays 2 weeks ago. And now you're bringing such crazy intensity against a Mike Tomlin team. Even without George Pickens. I get it. No George Pickens. But just an unreal effort. An unreal way to go out there and annihilate a very well-coached Pittsburgh team when Lane Johnson has to battle with TJ Watt. And Lane brought up, yo, this guy's different. I didn't even worry about one other thing going on throughout the entire game. I had my eyes focused on one man and one man only. And that's sort of how you have to lock in to elite versus elite like that. But Lane did his thing, and Lane answered more times than not. There's some stats flying around out there that he had zeros across the board due to a technicality. We watched that one minor sequence where he jumped early because of the threat of TJ Watt. And then there was one where TJ Watt got behind the right side of the line and forced his way to get to Jaylen Hurts. So I saw it with my 2 eyeballs. But I did see Jaylen Hurts play such a sharp game. Whew. I'll say it with everybody else in town. If he plays like that, that's a Super Bowl star. That's what that is. That's a Super Bowl winning star. If that's the way he can throw. And I believe that's in there. It's just how do you manage the consistency? They got away as a team with the passing game because their identity was fulfilled with the run game and how dominant it was. You open up the next layer to this roster and how they can fully reach the best level of football they can reach. You open up that door and the passing game delivers. It's just as elite as the run game. And it's just as elite as your defense. That's how strong your passing game can be. Devontae and A.J. Brown is a 1-2 punch. I mean, what are we talking about here? I just want that to marinate and why there's been so much angst towards what they were missing. Yeah, they were good here and there, but if they don't fully get to the third layer to this team, there is still something left to be desired. If they get there, holy hell. Bend them over. One man once said. That was me. We have a drop here somewhere. Holy hell. Bend them over. There you go. If you're new here. And if you are new here, why don't you hit the subscribe button? hit the thumbs up button. We have a blast on Brodes Media. You can also take me on the road with you by going to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of your podcasting platforms. If you leave a rating and a review, that will truly mean the world to me. Thank you all so much. And real quickly, we all love the sports bet, don't we? What if I told you I have the opportunity for you to go into the description, go to bookies.com/Brodes. If you click the link, you will see all the beautiful sign-up bonuses and the bonuses available for you on all online sports books available right from your fingertips. It's no joke. They are essentially handing you a little nice how do you do. You would be a fool not to accept that how do you do. Bookies.com/Brodes. Make sure you check it out. All right, we'll listen to another national media host, and then we will take some of your calls as well. So here's Emmanuel Acho on the facility on Fox Sports 1.
Eagles, they're head and shoulders above the rest.
Yeah.
They're head and shoulders above the rest. I can't really contextualize just how dominant what the Eagles did yesterday was. They took the will of the toughest coach and team in football defensively. That is the Pittsburgh Steelers. At the point in which, like, Mike Tomlin has coached, I think, 305 games in his career. Mm-hmm. He's never been outgained by 238 yards. Never. The Pittsburgh Steelers ran 11 plays. 11 plays in the second half yesterday. Y'all, we haven't seen that since 2008, 2009, 2010. That's the era of the last time we saw that kind of dominance where you only ran 11 plays. So now the question is why? Because the Eagles had a 13-play drive, 47 yards, 7.5 minutes. You had a 13-play drive, 74 yards, 6.5 minutes. Then you ended the game with a 21-play, soul-snatching, will-taking drive of 10.5 minutes. So if the Eagles want to play keep away, they can play keep away. The Eagles are capable of having 200-yard receivers and a 200-yard runner. The Eagles can run the ball on you, and the Eagles can pass the ball on you. There's no other team in football that can do what the Eagles can do. I think they're head and shoulders above everybody else.
Damn! Come on, baby! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How does that not get you pumped up? That is sickening to hear others describe how great you are and how nobody is on your level and how they can't touch you with a 50 motherfucking million foot pole. You separated yourself from the entire league. You are scary. No one wants to see you. I promise you that. There's not a team on planet Earth that thinks the Eagles would be a fun test to see what we are made of as soon as the playoff calendar flips. If you feel that way, you're an idiot. So let that sink in. The Eagles are so great that the more and more I study the decision made by Mike Tomlin on 4th and 7. Listen closely. He made the best decision for his football team. Their defense is better than their offense. Their defense against our offense has a better chance to succeed than that version of the Steelers' offense versus our defense. Now, by how much? We can have that debate all day long. But that's the truth. If the objective of the coach is put the team in the best position possible to succeed, it wasn't 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 he passed up on. With 10.5 minutes to go, to think a team is going to suck all 10 off the clock, that's not a thing. It isn't a real thought. That doesn't happen. The Eagles are that great. But his decision, you were rolling the dice, and it was a calculated risk. If he went for it, I wouldn't have called him stupid. But he did what was right. We are significantly stronger than every team across the board. And when I hear anybody Describe a football team. And that's the way you're able to describe it? My body erupts. It erupts. It also erupts when I have my beer of choice. And that, of course, is garage beer. All right, what if I told you you don't have to worry about that IPA taste? It is 100% light beer, 1,000% quality. DrinkGarageBeer.com. The information is down below. All right, let's do a little anytime hotline call. Let's go to the phones.
Brodes, this football team is unbelievable. They are just flat out unbelievable. And us as fans are so privileged to watch them on Sundays. I mean, what a win yesterday. All the drama going into this game, and the Eagles just take the adversity head on, and they just do not give a fuck. Pardon my language. They do not care what the circumstances are. They do not care about the adversity. They do not care who is over on that sideline. They are just going to play their brand of ball. They do not care if they're away, they're at home, they're on a neutral site. They do not care. And I love that about this team. This team's identity, this team is so strong with their cultural identity and who they are as a team. It is just unbelievable. They relish in adversity. You had the Sirianni debacle during the Browns game. You had the questions with Jaylen Hurts. You had this debacle after the Panthers game, and this team just continues to roll.
They do. They do. 1,000%. They roll every single day. They bring it every single day to compete, to learn, to absorb any sort of film, to get ready with your walkthroughs, you name it. The way that they enter the building every single day is with a purpose. It's with urgency to, quote, get 1% better every day. So as much as some may despise some of the way the messaging happens with core values and all that stuff, it hits home and it sinks into the bone marrow inside the NovaCare complex. It doesn't just work. It truly becomes who you are and your focus. And that's how you're able to put 10 wins together. You can't accidentally win 10 football games in a row. You can't. Something is bound to go wrong. You can only do it if special. How does Kansas City do it? They don't look to be the same team. They don't have that same exact killer. And maybe they don't. Maybe eventually that spark fizzles because they've done it for so long leading up to this point. Although I'm not going to be the moron to count them out until I actually see them counted out and actually eliminated. I should emphasize here. But how do they do it? Well, because Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes are a different breed. That's how. How do you win 10 games? Because Nick Sirianni and Jaylen Hurts are a different type of breed. It's different. They couldn't be two totally different extremes of people. And you know what? When I saw that video of Jaylen Hurts sitting down with the bling, when he brought up the fact that you guys wanted to see that, right? Or that's what you guys wanted to see. I sent that video to Tyrone. Dude, look at that chain hanging from his neck. Look at that thing. And his response was, I can't believe we once had Carson Wentz. Think about that. One man, the corniest of corny. Then you got swag. You can't have more swag than Jaylen Swag. Whether it's the Jordan kicks, he's had so many sexy ass Jordan cleats so far this season. Jordan 4s, Jordan 1s, Jordan 3s, Jordan 11s. Ew! Ew! Blinged out. Carson Wentz, who we may be seeing more of pretty soon, depending on how what's that? Pat Mahomes. What's that? I forgot his name. because it's not Jaylen Hurts. All right, I have a couple of quick notes here. I'll save some of the calls. You can call in at any point, of course, at 856-442-9805. That's the Anytime hotline, and it's wide open 24/7 to leave voicemails. But the defense after the turnovers, you don't stop teams to such limited points after a punt that was put on the carpet and Jalen's fumble. That's not what happens. And it was more of a description of who the Eagles' defense is and less about the Steelers' offense being putrid. You are so great that they looked like shit. It was more describing the way that you suffocate teams for 4 quarters. 3 now, 3 now, 3 now. Nothing better. 3 now, 3 now, 3 now. The link when it's cold, the link when we are gearing up for January. It might be my favorite venue in all of sports. Not being biased at all, of course. I saw some of the behind the end zone footage. Quinyon, and Slay. Slay put up a fight. Forgive me, I forget who blasted it out on X. That's the first time I went X, and I am disgusted in myself. I saw it on Twitter. And it was the 2023 Eagles when the 49ers came to town. It was Eli Ricks, and it was some of those corners who I had to deal, by the way, with so many fans saying, they're good. They're not good. Good is Mitchell. Good is this Slay. That wasn't good. We had so many of those type of cats. Eli Ricks, stop. What are we doing, Eli Ricks? Trying to win a Super Bowl. Eli Ricks. Anyway. There was a video of them allowing the 49ers to just walk by and push you with the shoulder and give you that nudge to the chest. And they stood there and just took it. Soft. Then you scroll to the right. And it was Quinyon, Jalen Carter. You could see the fear strike everyone's eyes in their helmets when Jalen Carter came to the party. I don't want to deal with that guy. I don't want to deal with 9-8. He'll give me a jab to the helmet mid-play. Stupid. Jalen, you're so good. That was stupid. Just in case he's listening. I love the fight of this team. To tie a bow on that one. The fight of the team, the camaraderie for the team, Nick Sirianni. Can you believe it? Who would have thought I'd apologize to Nick Sirianni this much? The Reed flag. I replayed the Reed Blankenship play over and over and over and over again. He never changed his angle once. The only thing that changed was Justin Fields sliding. I don't know what you possibly could ask defenders to do. Everyone's thinking it, but go watch it again. It's absurd to ask the defender at that speed to do anything else. He essentially stood there. He just stood there, and Justin Fields slid into him with a late slide. It's crazy to think that that could be a flag. Just crazy. And then the last one here on my quick notes is Gainwell. I had a joy of a time consuming you running the football. Thank you. All right? Thank you, Kenny, if you're listening. All right. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out. I greatly appreciate all the love and support. That's going to do it for the day after pod. It's been a fun ride, baby. Let's keep this thing rolling into next week. Thank you guys all so much, and I will see you all on the next one.